been a while, hasn't it? It's been I want to say since December. I'd have to look into it, but it's been a while since I did a My Thoughts video in general, you know? It feels like it's been a good time since I have. Not as long as the geography of Sarah. I'm going to get to that one again sooner or later and touch on some things, especially once 5 is out. There's going to be a lot of stuff to touch on with what they're going to do with environment, but no. We're talking about multiplayer today. Yeah, this one's a sensitive one to some because, it's a mixed bag with how people feel about multiplayer, not just in general, but the people who play it heavily. It's yeah, it's a thing. It's a problem, and it's also like it's not broken. It's just something that's very odd to those coming into it for the first time. So, if you haven't seen one of my my thoughts on videos before, I really don't do any editing. It's kind of just a straight shot kind of video. And a little FYI for how I do videos in general for gear talks. For these, normally, gear talks, I'll have notes or something in front of me. I never really do scripts that often unless I need to. If I have something I have to read verbatim or I have to do. Normally it's just notes because this is a discussion. It's not like I'm sitting here trying to just inform you about everything. No, this is just like a one-to-one. Who's ever watching, me to them. It's just a discussion video. Now and then I'll put decent effort into it. Now and then I won't because of how my job schedule is. If I had more time, I could put more effort, but that's the plague of anyone who's on YouTube, really. So, that being said, multiplayer. We're just going to go straight in and talk about it, and just an overall general introduction to those who are new even, or just a refresher for people who have been playing for a while, and also what we're going to be getting in 5, because when you're watching this for the first time, if you're watching it when it first comes out, which thank you, I always appreciate, tomorrow, that's a tech test. That's going to be where we play Gears 5 multiplayer for the first time, the general public, for those who like have the Ultimate Game Pass and all that. That's going to be interesting because we're going to see what's new, you know? And this video isn't really talking about all the specs we're going to be getting. Oh, would you look at that? During the E-League, they went through and went right off of their servers instead of just connecting everything. Trust me, I'm a casual player. I play for shits and giggles. That's my method of playing. All right? I'm not sitting here trying to be the best. I don't care. I've been chilling at bronze since Gears 4 started. Okay? That's where I prefer to be. I enjoy Bronze 4. When other people play with me, you know, it brings down the difficulty for the other team or who they're looking for because, again, I'm Bronze. I'm kind of bringing the skill level down for the enemy team. And I just prefer it that way. I like to have a good time. I like to enjoy myself. And that's a hard thing you're going to find with Gears of War in general, are people who are just going on to have a good time. There's not a lot. It sounds weird. I know, a video game where people are just going on and not having fun or not purposely going on to enjoy themselves. That's a reality with Gears. And how I'm going to do this video kind of, because again, it's all top of the head when I do the My Thoughts video, because it's all just my thoughts just right off my head, is I'll start talking to the newbies. The newbies are going to need to know this. Because you're going to be getting into something you're not ready for. It sounds like someone saying like, oh, you're not ready for Gears, or like when gamers first decided to play Dark Souls, you're not ready for that. That's for true gamers. Yeah. That's kind of true with Gears for newbies. I'll just come out right and say it right away. It's a toxic place. There's a lot of toxic players in the Gears of War community. A lot. Like, I say that like, oh no, I've come across a fair share. No, a lot of them are going to be. And a lot of them became toxic in 4. A lot were toxic before that too, but a lot of them were toxic in 4. And there's no like grace period in between 4 and 5 where it's like there's no updates going into 4, there's nothing new in 4, nothing's happening in 4, we gotta wait till 5. No. Those players, they're going right from 4 to 5. They're going to be how they are now, right out the gate into 5. And it's very hard for someone new. And I'll tell you a story about myself, because this is when I first started Gears. Like right now, if you want to know, I technically would be considered a Gears of War vet, kinda. I've been around quite a bit. I'm 25 and I've been around not since 1, but since Gears of War 2. And it kind of how it works with Gears of War, the community is like If you played 2, you kind of get that honorary gold star, like, yeah, this guy's a vet. He wasn't around day 1, but he's been around day 1 of 2, and he's been going forward. He's got, like, the honorary gold star, because Gears of War 2 is when things really picked up, especially in multiplayer, and that's kind of where our story begins. So I never played the first one right away. I've played the first, don't get me wrong. I've done everything I can in the first game. Trust me, we're good there. But I started my Gears of War, my run, my original boot camp started in 2. That was where I began. I played the game. I love the story. The story was what I first started off with, and I dabble with multiplayer because I never cared for multiplayer. Even these days, I'm not the biggest fan of multiplayer. I play multiplayer these days to hang out with my friends, to play with other people online, to play with the community, because they're amazing people. The people you can find that are amazing and not toxic. They're great people. So Gears of War 2. I played it, and immediately out the gate, within like an hour of my first play of multiplayer, I hated it. It was the worst thing I ever played. Because back in the day with multiplayer, and I'll touch on this when I get to 1, because it's a short story for 1, I might as well do it now. Gears of War 1, I got on there when the multiplayer was close to, it's not really dead, but close to like ghostish, where there's not too many. It was your average multiplayer you'd get in a game that's like a decent game, and its multiplayer is kind of like what Assassin's Creed did when it first came out with its multiplayer. It's decent, it's average, it's a little bit above average where people are going to keep playing it for a while. With some games that tack it on, it lasts for a few months, but Gears of War, it lasted quite a bit. Gears of War 2, things really took off. So Gears of War 1, I dabbled with just for some achievements here or there if I was working on it. Gears of War 2, things took off. Things were really specced out, looked into, and touched on. Yeah, I hated it. I hated it because I'm used to playing multiplayer games where it's like there's this variety of weapons you can choose from, and you can go in and, it's like this weapon's good, you should play with this, but there's nothing against playing with this. Like, I used to play Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. I'm a fan of akimbo. Just 2 submachine guns in my hands going around spraying and taking people down. That's how I played. I was decent at it. You can't dual wield in Gears of War, which, that I didn't care about that. It's the fact that when I first jumped on, it's nothing but Nashers. And for the newbies, the Nashers is the shotgun. You would just roll into someone, shoot the shotgun, you're dead within 1 shot, that's it. If you use any other weapon, you'd be an idiot. You use a Lancer, you're an idiot who's going to chainsaw you when you're getting a shotgun blast to the face. You use Hammer Burst, no one used Hammer Burst. You use anything, you're an idiot. Maybe the long shot now and then if you're trying to get a snipe kill, that was it. That was the original Gears of War 2 I was thrown into. I don't know how everyone else is. I know people could argue what the real experience is like, but that's what I dealt with. So I hated Gears of War multiplayer for a long time. When it came to Gears of War 3, when that came out, amazing story. I loved it so much. But Gears of War 2 for me was always my favorite because that was like where I started. The story was good in that one. But the multiplayer was better in 3. 3 was good. 3 I enjoyed because there was a variety, larger maps if you wanted, and yeah, there was multiple ways to kill someone. It wasn't just running up to someone with an Asher, It changed a bit. I still wasn't a fan of multiplayer at the time because I went through 2 stages of my Gears playing time before I actually sat down and I am where I am now. And that was when I originally just went through to clear the games and get the achievements I could. And then going through and doing the insane runs, where I came back just so I could brush up on my knowledge when I started reading the books and everything, and get the heavy-duty achievements, because I was still a young tadpole at the time. I was now experienced after 3. I even went through, did that. Judgment was all 1 run. Judgment, I didn't go through 2 stages. It was just 1 run on Judgment. Not because it was bad, just because I wanted to get it done with. But yeah, so jumping ahead, I started to finally feel the groove from Gears of War multiplayer once I played 4 and I left for the dark period where I was gone for like a year and a half, and I returned to 3 when I was doing my insane runs. I could start feeling the multiplayer, how things were changing a bit, how there were different ways to play. Jump to Gears of War 4. The mentality of 2 is there with people. It's very heavily there, you can tell. The Nasher, it's not just rolling into someone anymore. There's actual skill to play with a Nasher now. It's not just you don't care anymore. It's worth it to play the multiplayer for 4. It is. Don't get me wrong. There are toxic people you have to deal with now and then. The majority of them are not as bad as I'm making it sound, but you do run into them quite a bit, and they are going to be try-harding it with you, Gears of War 2 style. You need to find that group of people who are decent people, you could say. like there's different groups and cliques in Gears of War. There's like the pro players, there are the tryhards, there are the content creators, which I fall into that one. The Gears vets, which I technically fall into that one too. The people who just don't care and screw around, which unfortunately that's me because I like to troll a little bit now and then. I know it's horrible, but no one's perfect. You need to really find that group of people who are actually who are there to play for fun. Yeah, they may get angry now and then about a play or something or how things went. But understand, it's like they're playing the game because they enjoy playing it and they don't enjoy getting their head blown off by an Asher. That should be everyone, really. But these are the kind of people where you can just screw around with and make jokes. These are the people you need to go find. If you're just going in solo and you're going to be going into a game now and then, I would say 2 out of 10 times, a fifth of the time, you'll have like that chill, cool game you're going to get with people. If you're lucky, you'll string together quite a few in a row. If you're unlucky, you're going to be getting a horrible team on your side, maybe some quitters here or there, and you're going to go against people who are more skilled than they should be for where they're ranked. And it's not going to be fun. That's for the newbies. The newbies need to know that, what you're expecting. Gears 5 is going to be a bit different, though, because they really are paying a lot of attention to multiplayer. I really like how it looks, and I think because of E-League, they're pushing it this way, where it seems a bit more, I wouldn't say competitive, because that's kind of what they were pushing for the other ones. It's more sportsman's-like, you could say, or it's going in for the competition, but it's in a sporting way. I'm not saying sports like a sport. I'm saying sporting, you lost, but it was a dignified loss. Hey, it was a good game, hope to play against you another time. They're going for that feel with this. That's really what it seems to me. They're not going in for, let's just end this quick with a few shotgun shots here and there with the Nasher, and we're done, we win, haha, screw you, middle fingers up to the world. It doesn't seem like they're going for that, but the thing is, you have to realize is, you're getting a lot of that's coming in from 4. Those people are coming to this. There are tryhards that are coming into this that are going to be, who have logged in so many hours to 4 just to try and be number 1. They're going to come in day 1 and they are going to mop the floor with so many people who are new, so many casual players, so many people who came from 4 who just got it to get the story to move on. That's going to be a thing. It's going to be a very rough start because you're going to get a lot of things. You're going to get those guys trying to mop their way up to the top, People are going to be trying all the new stuff, and they're going to be getting destroyed and getting frustrated easily. All I can say is when that happens, do not become toxic. Do not fall into what they are and what they're pushing. Don't become that. If someone's doing something that doesn't seem right, or they're just quitting mid-game or something, or they're just raging and doing something, they're sending you horrible messages. If they're doing that, go through, report them. Do something like that. But don't do it in a negative way. Do it because it would be the correct thing to do in a situation like that. Because if you play into their toxicity, if you do, you will become toxic. It has happened to so many people. I'm friends with people who are toxic. And I can tell you that's how it happened. Do not run into that, okay? Because now kind of going from the newbies to the people who have been around for a while like me. Message to them, and the newbies can listen in too. This isn't a them only conversation. Understand to the guys who have been around a while. A lot of people have worked hard to get this to where it is. A lot of people have worked hard. Not only the people who made this game to put it where it is on the map today, but the people in the community who have done everything they can, everything possible to push this game to where it is as a community. So when the public looks at us, we don't look like a bunch of idiots. Granted, that's kind of changed as of late because of how many toxic people there are, but we have done our best to make it seem like we aren't a bunch of just idiots that are just cussing someone out over a video game. We have done our best to make it look somewhat professional. E-League is a thing now, and it's actually looking decent. We can't be kicking ourselves in the shins constantly, because the people who are holding this up, every toxic player that pretty much spits in their face acting like an idiot, that's one more kick to the person holding things up. And I can tell you right now, I really don't want this ship to sink. I don't want that. Gears 5, I made a video about it with a My Thoughts video on how I felt about it, what my thoughts were going to be with it. I was hesitant. I've seen the stuff coming out for now. I've seen the multiplayer. I've seen where the campaign is somewhat going to go. I've seen the background stuff with the comics and books, what that's going to look like. 5 is not going to be a failure. 5 is going to be something. I'm actually optimistic now with it. I will tell you this. If people decide to sink this ship after we're hitting our stride, I am going to be ticked off. I am going to sit there in my back. I'll go nuts on it. I will have a funeral for my game. I will literally dig a 6-foot hole at a cemetery, pay for a tombstone, and I will bury my copy knowing it died because a bunch of idiots decided to just go around being idiots and making this place a living hell for anyone who's trying to enjoy it. I will personally have a funeral for the one thing I love the most as a franchise. And I swear to God, that is an actual possibility because of what is constantly dealt with every single time you put that game in, because a lot of people just can't accept it's a game. You're here to have fun. This isn't about trying to be the top of them all. This isn't about trying to be, it's going to happen in the beginning, getting an aimbot to pretty much help you stay above everyone else, trying to be number one. This isn't about being number one. Save that for E-League. That's literally what they're in it for, a competition to be the number ones. And guess what? There's toxicity in that too, and it's horrible to see. But you know what? The best we can do is just try to be like the best us we can during this, because we can't just sit there and fix toxicity. It's something that can't be fixed, okay? Gears of War is one of the ones up there for toxicity. I've been around toxic communities. I've played League of Legends. I was in college. I played a decent amount. I'll tell you, it's a toxic place there. Gears of War blows that out of the water by a mile. I can tell you right now. You need to have thick skin and be prepared. If you're not a vet, you need to learn. That's what boot camp is here for. They're introducing, and that's going to be very good. The newbies will be able to learn, and they can start understanding what they're getting into. Not the toxicity, but play-wise. Because it will go Dark Souls style on you where it's GG, not good game, it's get good. Because if you do not get good, trust me, you're not getting any further. If you want to be one of those guys getting up there to like Onyx or Diamond, trust me, if you don't practice, you don't learn, you don't deal with that, you don't learn to adapt, you will stay bronze. I'm there on purpose. I purposely stay there because I don't care. Because I got all that ruined for me back in the day. I don't care about that. I want to have fun. That's my main goal now. I'm not going to deal with that stuff. If you want to find people to hang out with, I can name a list of people you can hang out with. If you've heard a guy called Dashley245, hang out with him. Baryonyx, hang out with him. Check out all these guys on Twitter. They're amazing people. They're a part of the community that make things as they are. Look up OG, who else? Crimson, Embry Starred, Cog Couple. Throw all those people in. Look at them on Twitter. That's how it should be. Yes, get angry if something is horrible in the game and you should have had that. Understand. You can have those feelings. Don't feel like the world is out against you and you need to adapt and become a horrible person and put those practices onto others and continue the chain. Get angry if you think you should have gotten something. Don't turn it into a negative thing you now inflict on others out of a form of like revenge on the game and other players. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Save it for the game, get back at the guy who got you, end it there. That's it. The guy wants to dance around you in a teabag motion? Fine, return the favor. After that, be done. Don't continue doing it to everyone. Eye for an eye, trust me, it sounds horrible, but in Gears, that's kind of how it goes. Don't go poking out everyone else's eye too, okay? I've gotten off on such a tangent here, but that's how multiplayer, the community multiplayer works. Again, if you were coming here as just, I'm probably gonna name this my thoughts on the Gears of War multiplayer community instead of multiplayer, because trust me, if you're coming here for an in-depth analysis on what's gonna be coming up, what the tech test is like, I'm sorry, you're not getting that. You're gonna get the lowdown on what the community is like. It's an extremely good community, a lot of great people. I know I've said up to this point how horrible it is. Understand, you're going to deal with horrible people. I think that's just a life lesson in general. 95% of the people are nice. That 5% is toxic. And you may think 5% ain't that much. Well, if I had to compare that to League, you might get 2% toxic. Gears is pretty much 2.5 times. You're going to get double and a half more of that here. And trust me, that double and a half comes in heaps. So, that's going to end that one here. I've gone on way too long, just kind of with a my thought video. But when I do these, I just kind of go off the cuff, as you could see. So thank you guys for watching. I'm hoping the tech test for everyone who's going to enjoy it tomorrow is going to be amazing. If you're watching this afterwards or anything, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this during Gears 5, well, I'm sorry you missed the tech test, but you're enjoying multiplayer right now, so good for you. You guys have a great one. Like, comment, subscribe. We have a ton of stuff coming out every Thursday for Gears. It's a mixed bag on what I'm going to do. I just haven't done anything 5 related for like a week or two, so I felt like I had to do it. So have a great one, guys. See you next time.